All right, coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365. Well, game one started with a bang against the Brewers, and then it went downhill really, really fast. Starting Boyd in game one, what do you think about it now? Who's starting game two? CHGO Cubs therapy session right now. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs post-game show podcast driven by Toyota, Let's Go Places, and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use code CHGO365 at sign-up. 9-3 Padres in Game 1 of the NLDS. Luke Stuckmeyer, Joey Christopoulos, Justin Roman, and Sarah running the ones and twos for us. Hi to everybody in the live YouTube chat that was along for the watch-along. We appreciate that, first of all. For 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Warriors.
Most of it.
Chat warriors.
Complete misery. Hi to everybody in the chat. If you haven't already subscribed to the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, please do. And tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a total stranger, and then tell that total stranger's neighbor. We should tell you before we get anything going about what's going on for Game 2. Before we get miserable about Game 1, let's start with the positive of Game 2, and that is our watch party at Old Crow Smokehouse coming up Monday night. Now a must-win game, I'd say, for your Chicago Cubs against the Brewers. Brewers only need 2 more wins in this series, so only best of 5 here. And the watch party, Old Crow Smokehouse, right on Clark Street, right in the heart of Wrigleyville. You can watch the game indoors in case it sprinkles. Watch with us. It's free to get in, right, Justin?
It's free. Great food, great drinks, great pre- and post-game show by us three.
Yeah.
And
great brisket.
Great brisket, yeah, great drink. The whole nine. I am new here. I would love to meet some of your diehards and shake some hands and watch the Cubs bounce back in a major way for Game 2 on Monday night.
Chef Kevin says, hey, Cubs only need to win 3 of the next 4 games. You know what? Before we get negative, Chef Kevin, the Brewers haven't scored in 6 innings.
Yeah.
The Brewers'
offensive drought, if I might say.
The Brewers' offense is in a total drought. 6 innings, no runs.
We've scored in the past 6 innings. They have not.
You start this in the 3rd inning, we're doing all right.
Yes.
How do you
we're
like them
doing all
curds?
right. Huh? All right, so let's start with the obvious thing that Craig Counsell will be asked about in his press conference. Mm-hmm. Do you regret starting Matthew Boyd on 3 days rest?
I do not. I know hindsight is 20/20. And guys in the chat and girls too, remember, you now know we lost 9-3. Going into this game, if not Matthew Boyd, who are you starting? Because any other option is flawed as well. Matthew Boyd on short rest, sure. But he was great for us Game 1 of the Wild Card Series. He was good enough to warm up in Game 3 of the Wild Card Series. You're going to talk about Colin Ray? I hear you. Lefties crush Colin Ray. Milwaukee's got some dangerous left-handed hitters. That's not a great option. A bullpen game, also not a great option either. So hindsight being 20/20, Matthew Boyd looked horrible. But going into this game, I still feel like he's your all-star. He pitched great in the Wild Card Series. He was my number 1 going into today, but it just didn't work out. Sometimes the right move doesn't work out, and I think that's what today was.
You know, gentlemen, I'm not going to do what you all think I'm going to do, which is flip out. But that was a rough watch, okay? And we've been in heaven and now we're in hell. And that first inning was absolute hell. To answer your question, though, Luke, I think they still did the right thing. He is your all-star. They have left-handed bats at the top of their lineup. Bryce Terang was their hottest hitter heading into September. You have to respect Christian Yelich. The only problem with the Boyd situation was you had to put him up against William Contreras, who's had great career numbers against Matthew Boyd. Now, full transparency, we were talking on a text thread, and I was tossing around ideas, and I was like, well, what if we had done Pomerantz as the opener, Colin Ray for a couple innings, then you get Colin Ray when they flip the lineup back over, do Thielbar, do Assad. Obviously, Assad's not even on this roster. Having said that, I'm with you, Justin. I'm not hindsighting this one. Mm-hmm. I'm not Monday morning quarterback or doing any of that 2020 stuff because, in my opinion, Matthew Boyd is the best starter that we have, even if it was on 3 days rest. The simple issue was that he just simply didn't get the job done. Sometimes your guy gets roughed up. He allowed back-to-back-to-back doubles, and then one of the most unprecedented things that, frankly, I don't think we're going to see again this year or for many years to come, Nico Hoerner making a critical, crucial error in the field that opened up the door to allow 4 unearned runs to score, and then all of a sudden that's the game, Luke. So I'm not going to look back and say Craig Counsell erred by going with one of his best guys in that situation.
Well, it sure looked like visually Craig Counsell was regretting it in the dugout.
He was stressing.
They thought about it. They released that Matthew Boyd starting late. Yeah.
So it's not second guessing because everybody first guessed it, including the Cubs themselves, because I don't think this was as easy as they thought. Although Counsell said yesterday in his press conference that Boyd had been, this was his focus, was game. As soon as he pitched in game 1 against the Padres, his focus had become game 1 of this series against the Brewers. That doesn't mean you had to go to it. My problem with it was 3 days rest, and while he didn't throw a ton of pitches against the Padres, they were high stress because it was a playoff game. And had he not shown signs of fatigue going into the postseason, late in the season, I would have said, oh, yeah, do it. I agree with you, Justin, and Joey, that there were no clear answers. But I also agree with Jeremiah and some other people in the chat where Ray was a thought in my mind. I didn't think Ben Brown, but if Ben Brown was going to be on the roster, I'm with you because he had dominated the Brewers. However, had that not gone right, they would have roasted Craig Counsell on a spit in the parking lot before he even got out of Milwaukee.
They're second-guessing Counsell right now, and our all-star was the Game 1 starter. There's no way Ben Brown was going to start Game 1. If that would have gone wrong, he would have been, lit up. I do want to say, too, also, and mind you, I am the biggest Nico Hoerner fan in the world. If Nico Hoerner makes that easy play, it's one bad inning for Matthew Boyd versus a horrible bad start by Matthew Boyd. That changes a lot of things. If you go into the second inning and it is 3-1 versus, what was it, 6-1? I mean, it's a totally different inning. 4 of those runs were unearned because of an uncharacteristic error by Nico Hoerner. So, listen, this game started as bad as it possibly could have started. But I'll tell you, like I tell all baseball fans, and even when I'm coaching in travel baseball, it's one loss. It could have been 18-1. It could have been 2-1. It counts as one loss only. You flush it and move on.
I'm with Drive Secure 247, and this is what I said in our chat yesterday. I think I would have. Push came to shove. I think I would have started Assad in this game.
Okay.
He's not hurt. He's ready to go. And that was the final decision, was trying to choose between Ben Brown and Assad. And I totally get why the Cubs did go with Ben Brown.
Right.
And Counsell talked about how it was a very difficult decision to try and figure out what to do with that. And it still might turn out to be the right decision long term.
Right.
Just for this game specifically, my thought process would have been, I would have been thinking Assad for like 3 innings. Not an opener, but 3 innings, and then work it from there. They thought, well, we can get those same 3 innings out of Boyd. And maybe they could have if it weren't for the error. And I get that. But you have to take into account that there might be an error behind you on your defense sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but on this team, you kind of don't think that.
I know you
you
expect perfect defense, but it doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
You have to pitch through adversity sometimes.
Yes.
And before there was the air, you mentioned fastball command, and
it was all over the place.
The first 2 pitches weren't close to the zone in reality, and it was like you could see very early on that Boyd didn't have it. So my only criticism, more so than deciding that Boyd could do it on 3-day start, because even though I thought that was pretty questionable, and I think most people did, including the Cubs, I think the bigger error for me would have been I would have had somebody at least riding a bike and real ready if I found out early on, ooh, this was a bad idea. Right. I'm not saying the visual is that Boyd's warming up next to Ben Brown or whoever it might be, but it took long enough that it was like by the time they got somebody in, it was too late. And then it was Soroka, and that was the wrong choice too.
It was horrible.
That's what bothers me, Luke. Also,
that was the wrong choice too.
And here's what also sucks is we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the first inning of a game. That's what's going to really bother me over the course of the next hour. But yeah, so when you talk about Assad versus Ben Brown, they basically made a choice of stuff versus trust and production on that, right? Because Brewers have struggled with velocity even more than the Chicago Cubs have this year. Lance Bradowski did an amazing breakdown of barrel rate, all this good stuff with the Milwaukee Brewers. So they said, and Ben Brown's had good numbers against them so far this year.
Great numbers.
11 innings pitched, only allowed 2 earned runs, add 2 more of those scoreless today. So now he's at 13-2. And he had a great, I think it was 6 scoreless innings against the Milwaukee Brewers early on this year. But Luke, to your point, and this is what's so funny about how the game can get away from you, is 3 days rest, and maybe they walked into it with too much confidence because we could see Craig Counsell pacing in the dugout knowing I'm a prisoner in my own first inning. I can't get a guy up fast enough. I can't get a guy warmed up to come into this game. I am stuck with Matthew Boyd, and I think they knew very early on from the jump that he didn't have it. He was rolling the changeup high. He rolled, I didn't even know if it was curveball. Could have been changeup. I don't know. It was all high up, and it was rolling, and they were smacking doubles all over the field. He couldn't command the fastball, the one thing that might have been able to keep them at bay, and it was bad from the beginning. The part that I'm willing to probably second guess is that second move of Mike Soroka. Why even have Ben Brown on this roster if you have confidence about the velocity and his success against the Brewers if he isn't the first guy into that game? Is it a control issue? Because I don't think Mike Soroka has great control either. I just don't understand the calculus of that. Is he able to get ready faster than Ben Brown? So I understand why he went to Matthew Boyd. I disagree with what happened with Mike Soroka in the game. It clearly didn't work. It got out of hand. And again, we're still, we're almost through the A block. We're still talking about the first inning because that was the game. Well, that was the moment.
The game was over. So you would have gone, you might have started Boyd if you had to, even though you had some other ideas.
Yes.
But you would have gone Savali or you would have gone Ben Brown?
I think I would have gone Ben Brown because I needed velocity to get out of that inning.
Okay.
That's what I need.
What would you have done?
Joey, I love you. I disagree. You just brought Ben Brown up. He's a young kid. I think they used Ben Brown for his first time in the perfect situation today, kind of like mop up, keep him at bay kind of thing, give him some confidence going into later in the series. Michael Soroka has phenomenal stuff. And I was a big fan of that trade. I thought he was going to be a bullpen piece for us in the postseason that would be very effective because he was last year. I was dead wrong. He looked horrible out there today. And again, it's another move that I don't disagree with happening. You were going to waste your good bullpen guys in that situation. You were going to bring in, Keller or Kittredge because they were unavailable. You kind of had to go to your B squad.
It was Savali, Brown, or Soroka.
Yeah, and so I think out of those 3 guys, I probably do go with Soroka. Again, it just didn't work.
And you didn't go to somebody in the chat said I would have gone Ray and I would have gone Savali. Those would have been his 2 pitchers because former Brewers let him stick it to their former team, the former team factor thing. I think they didn't go Ray because they're still questioning if Ray should start game 2. I think they're still considering if Ray is their starter for game 2.
Yeah.
So that's why I think he would, because for me, after Boyd didn't do it, the real answer for me would have been Ray unless I was thinking about him for the next game as my starter.
Yeah.
Because he's
not coming back on short rest now after you saw what happened with Boyd.
That's my opinion.
Right.
We'll talk about that in the next segment. Like who's your number Who's your game 2 starter? Some people think Tyone. I don't know if this would have influenced that decision. So I'll ask you that as we go to chat. Who is your game 2 starter as the Cubs get ready to face the Brewers in Milwaukee on Monday when we are at Old Crow Smokehouse for a free watch party? Yeah. While we're at break, let us know in the live YouTube chat. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Hey, Cubs fans, Toyota has 25 vehicles available for all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. Look, the RAV4, it's got legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander's adult-size third row is for real, and the Tacoma's Wild Side comes standard. From job sites to campsites and game nights, there's an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive for you. So head on over to Toyota. Go to Toyota.com or visit your Chicagoland Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And Luke, we're in the middle of a playoff chase right now.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it happen, trying to make some noise. You can make some noise by coming to CHGO Die Hard today and upgrade your fandom. We've got exclusive written content like Patrick Norton's newsletter, a free t-shirt, after the game, post-game locker room with Jared Wyllys, plenty of discounts on future merchant events, and you get to hang out in the CHGO Discord Lounge where we just hang out and talk sports all day long. So head to allchgo.com for the latest information on how you can join the thousands of CHGO diehards in our community. We cannot wait to connect with you on an even higher level.
All right, let's be real for a second. The world has gone soft.
Not again.
And that's just fine when you're talking about a hot loaf of bread. We're not. Talking about colas. Everybody gets a trophy for just showing up. Everything needs to be bubble wrapped. Soda used to have some kick. Now it's about pretty colors and easy fizz. RC Cola is not a soft drink. It's a damn good cola. It's the original cola that doesn't fold under pressure. RC's the OG cola in a world of spineless soft drinks. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow up. They haven't changed their stripes since 1905 because they didn't need to. Same bold, crisp flavor. It's always been. RC Cola tastes like a punch in the thirst. Do yourself a favor. Grab some RC at your local store. Me and my RC. That's right. Stock up for all those Cubby parties and celebrations. Just watching the game. RC is the move for whatever you're doing. All right. Can the Cubs come back and win 3 games in this series? The answer is yes.
Yes.
100%.
Are you signed up to be a diehard? I sure hope so. But if not, here's what you're looking at. This is the time to do it. Right now we have a super special going on. It's $36 for the whole year if you're signing up for the first time. That's unreal. You could also change that $39, which is normally $79.99. You could change it to $59 if you want, and then you get a shot. You get a branded bill, limited edition CHGO Die Hard lid. That's until they run out. So when they're out, they're out. Then that deal's off the table. They're going fast. So that's the option right now. Special deal for diehards. That comes with all the other perks of being a CHGO diehard. Access to our Discord lounge, all the written content, whether it's behind a paywall or not behind a paywall, discounts to merch, discounts to events throughout the season coming up. All of that. So anyways, we have some more Toyota Super Chats we want to get to because people were paying money to give their advice here, and Mo loves to throw around the dough.
Thanks, Mo.
Thanks, Mo. For $5,
money.
I understand
Mo
Boyd's
money.
starting. He is your all-star, but he is only starting because our options are limited, and that is on Hoyer. Soroka was horrible. Then Mo says for another $5, he says, I'm not done. I want another $5. Hoyer not adding arms in the offseason. Their deadline cost the Cubs. The guys are drained. Adding Luzardo, Castillo in the offseason or Ryan at the deadline helps. Well, listen, I think we all thought they didn't do enough at the deadline.
Right.
We all did. But I was sitting here thinking after the Padres series, it was a little bit of redemption for Jed Hoyer. Now, it doesn't mean it was the right decision, but it was the juxtaposition of the two teams in a short 3-game series, and it was the Padres who went absolutely all in and traded a top 3 prospect in all of baseball.
Yes. A couple of
And
really
more.
good.
They made some big moves, went all in, and they're done and at home. And the Cubs, who just mildly put a little ketchup on their team and said,
Kittredge,
has worked.
Soroka.
Listen, you can't even say that in the series what the Padres did was wrong. Mason Miller was great, but they're home. The bottom line is true. They made the big moves. They're home.
Yes.
I still would love to err on that side more often than not. The Cubs side, the more conservative way, has moved on. Now we will see how it works in a 5-game series. Right. But there's no question they are thin at starting pitching, especially since you've lost Steele and now Horton, which has become the second one.
Well, what's really difficult about that is when we did those deadline shows. Remember, we went back and we were trying to at least sort of wrap our head around what maybe the game plan or what the thought process of Jed Hoyer was at the time. And I think we came around to not a conclusion, but one of our hypotheses was that we thought Jed Hoyer was banking on actually a lot of depth in the starting rotation because they were anticipating that Jamison Tyone was going to come back and Javier Assad was going to come back. But how much does that hurt now that I understand Savali's maybe in the place of Assad, but I think one of those pitchers that maybe Jed Hoyer was banking on instead of starting pitching depth isn't even on the wild card roster, isn't even on the NLDS roster, and that has to hurt right now.
And, just to go back to that super chat, Joe Ryan was not available at the deadline, okay? And then Mackenzie Gore, he didn't move either.
Yeah.
So
if they wanted Horton, you weren't going to do it.
Yeah. So and then also Mackenzie Gore had a horrible second half. So ultimately, I hear you, and it's a very fair comment. But some of those guys that we were dreaming about weren't available, and this is who you have. And unfortunately, now you're right, we are thin. But Tyone did come back, looked really, really good. Cade Horton came like a star, like an ace. He went down with an injury. It stinks, but this is the hand we've been dealt, and now we got to figure out who's starting game 2 and beyond.
And the other frustrating part, just really quick, about Craig Counsell's decision to start Matthew Boyd was literally yesterday when I was like, hey, we should use Drew Pomeranz as an opener. The only reason I was honestly really throwing it out there because I was just trying to think like Craig.
Right.
I really was.
Yeah.
We've seen it over and over again. He goes lefty, lefty and the righties, lefty and the righties. And I just didn't think starting Boyd on 3 days rest worked into that metric analysis that they spend so much time and seem to pride themselves on. So I was like, well, clearly maybe they're going to try and do this carry me through game. And I felt like the Boyd thing was kind of an instinct gut thing that sort of flies against the face of Craig.
You know what? I think something happened recently where Counsell went out of his comfort zone and did an opener at game 2 against San Diego, and it didn't really work.
No.
So to go, that's why in our text I hear you, it's a great theory, but our last time we did an opener, it really didn't work. So to do it again on this stage, I think there was some kind of it didn't really work before.
Well, so here it is. He's been faced with 2 pitching decisions that he's really been questioned on because they didn't work.
Right.
The opener, and now this one by total necessity because they used everything they could to get by the Padres, which I appreciate. You knew game 1 was going to be tough. You hoped in your wildest dreams that the Padres offense would just be rusty from not playing and that you could get by with something. I saw Sergio in the chat saying he was hoping they'd actually go Shota, just conceding almost it's tough to beat Peralta at home, and then you get a fully rested Boyd for game 2.
But Shota was
your idea was.
That's closer to my idea.
Closer to your idea.
Yeah.
There just was no perfect answer. I think maybe starting Ray was the answer. That's in total hindsight, but we were first guessing it. It just didn't work. Right. And the air didn't help. So now, and we'll get to the other part of it, there wasn't enough offense with it anyways. No. Even if there wasn't the air and it wasn't as bad as 9 runs in the first 2 innings, the Cubs were sitting there with 2 hits halfway through the game. Okay? So there wasn't enough offense to go with it against Peralta either.
But looking back, we hit 3 home runs.
We did hit 3 home runs.
The frustrating part for me is that we hit 3 home runs and they were all solo. Go to the entire playoffs we had so far, we've hit 6 home runs and they're all solo home runs. So our team they've been known to have home runs, and they've done that in this playoffs. But you got to get on base because solo home runs are great. But you know what's better? 2-run bombs, 3-run bombs, grand slams. That changes the game in a second. So, today's offense, but 3 home runs, if you were to ask me, Cubs hit 3 home runs in game 1 of the NLDS, do they win? I say absolutely.
Yeah, well, the Brewers scored 9 runs without hitting one because the pitching just wasn't up to snuff in this game. So now you're looking at game 2, and you're faced with almost a similar situation. The one difference would be that in game 2, and Counsell alluded to this before the series even started, in game 2, your bullpen's going to be much healthier.
Yes.
Now Brad Keller has recovered from throwing 2 innings.
Yes.
I don't know if he's recovered mentally from the 9th inning, but he's recovered.
Right.
Palencia should be ready to go.
Right.
All of the Pomerantz, all of the guys you want to really go to in the bullpen.
The A team is ready.
The A team's ready to shorten that game 2 for you. And then you're going to get another off day, which allows you to manage that bullpen differently.
Yes.
So we know a lot of guys in the bullpen can throw in game 2. Who's your starter? And here are the options. Shota on 4 days rest. Tyone on 3 days rest. Or Colin Ray, who's only thrown some bullpen work in that series against the Padres. I would think those are the 3 options, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the Cubs have decided. And Counsell was asked before the series again. He said, well, the off day gives us time to really kind of reevaluate that a little bit before we make that decision, see where we are after game 1. And I wonder if that now includes, how did that work, the 3 days rest with Boyd? Now, that said, Tyone is not Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, you're going to look bad if you do it twice and get blasted.
Right.
Like, if you do Tyone on 3 days rest and it goes the same way, the guy that left Milwaukee for $8 million a year is going to get roasted.
But Tyone has looked great his past 8 starts.
Tyone has looked great, and he is fresher than Boyd. Because of some injuries, he's just fresher. He's always been more of an innings eater. Yeah. Anyways, but do you really need the innings eater in game 2? Because the bullpen's more ready.
Right.
Could you try the Shota thing? I would just say Shota's been kind of inconsistent.
Right.
He's not been good. I mean, he was good in this last turn. He kept us in the game, but Shota Imanaga, compared to the Shota Imanaga expectations that we've come to have for him as a Chicago Cub, let's be honest, it just hasn't been up to snuff. It just hasn't been there. Having said that, though, if it is my game 2 starter, I am starting Shota Imanaga, and I'm having Colin Ray warm up right next to him.
That's what I think the answer
right
is.
next to him. Because real quick, here's the thing is we don't know what's going on with Jackson Chourio, right? We don't know. Let's just say he doesn't play game 2 and hypothesize that out.
I'm willing to hope for that.
You're moving but you're moving Terang up in the lineup.
Yeah.
You're moving Yelich up in the lineup, and you're moving Frelick up in the lineup. Those are 3 lefties right there.
Yeah.
Right.
You want Shota to probably face those guys and cross your fingers and close your eyes with William Contreras. From that point on, you sort of see, you assess, you prepare, and you get ready, because if it goes wrong or if it gets a little hairy, I do want Colin Ray for the back half of their lineup just to get me 2 innings. And then, look, if Shota Imanaga gets pulled out of the game before 3 innings, we already have problems, right? Like the bullpen will already have to be used in that game. But I would prepare accordingly. I would use Shota. I would try and keep Jameson Tyone on his normal rest. And I've never really been a big 3 days rest guy. There's tons of numbers out there that say yes, no, different people, different,
Yeah.
I just wouldn't put Tyone in that position. I want to believe in Shota. I think Shota can go out there and give us a quality outing. We've seen him do it numerous times before. But Justin, again, I'm just preparing for all scenarios, and I would have Colin Ray ready to go if Shota faltered.
Niren's thinking with us, by the way. He says same thing, 18 guys, Shota and Ray.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good plan. I will tell you this. For my money, Monday night is do or die. It's game 2, and the goal of any road team in a 5-game series, 7-game series at that too, is to steal one of the road games. So we clearly did not steal tonight, but we have the opportunity to steal Monday's game and then come home and again, we would then steal home field advantage. So, the goal again is to take one of these 2 games, and so Monday becomes crucial for us. So whatever they do, if it's Shota and Ray, if it's an opener, if it's Jamon short rest, I mean, you gotta be all in, because you cannot be down 0-2 and come back home to Wrigley and expect to win 3 games in a row. So Monday is for me the season. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Boy, it's tough not to go Shota, because that's the guy you've been riding with for 2 years.
He's been great, too. He's been great.
He has been great. He hasn't been perfect. Niren says Shota can come up big in a big spot. That's true.
I want to believe that.
And I see other people in the chat wanting to flip what we're talking about. So far, nobody's jumped in on the Tyone 3 days rest.
Right.
I think we've all got a little PTSD from the 3 days rest thing.
Right.
Some people are saying flip it. How about Ray first and then Shota?
Because it's
so
Turang and Yelich.
Yeah.
Guys, Colin Ray is allowing left-handed hitters to hit 292 against them. It's a 1.57 whip against left-handed hitters. He's given up 20 home runs this year, 14 of them against left-handed hitters. I am terrified with Colin Ray facing Turang and Yelich right now. I want to avoid it at all costs. That would be my counter to starting Ray in the game.
And by the way, Tyler in the chat said, oh, well, they scored 9 runs because our manager made the moronic decision to start a guy on 3 days rest who has bad home-away splits and hasn't looked good at the end of the season.
Who did you want? Colin Ray? Joey just told you.
That's the problem, Tyler. I don't have the perfect answer for you. I agree that Boyd wasn't the right. Clearly, hindsight tells you that too.
Yes.
But I don't know what the right answer was.
The players also play.
What do you think about the Cubs' offense in this game, and what do you think about the Cubs' chances in the series moving forward? Let us know in the live YouTube chat, but first a word from our sponsors. All right, if you're looking for a spot to catch your playoff games here, NLDS with Cubs and Brewers, we got a place for you that checks all the boxes. It's chef-driven, elevated bar food that's locally inspired, almost home. They have the best smash burger, and their tavern-style pizza is amazing. Not just the food, though. They also have tons of games like pool, darts, big buck hunter, and shuffleboard. Wall-to-wall TVs, perfect for watching literally anything. The owners are CHGO diehard members. Yes. They're massive Bears fans, so you bet the Bears are repped hard there. They've even got a covered beer garden with TVs, so you're not missing a thing, rain or shine. Just a block north of Wrigley Field. It's the ideal pregame, during game, post-game Cubs spot. Daily specials, happy hour that is definitely worth your time. Go to Almost Home Tavern and tell them Stucky sent you.
Hey, coaches out there, listen up. If you are looking for more athletes out there to train, we got a place for you. It's called Eye on the Ball, and it's where you need to be. The company created by CHGO diehards, they make it super simple for you. You create your profile, you upload your background check, and boom, you're in the game. They have a special right now where you get up to 6 months for free.
Wow.
It can also be $50 a month or $500 for the year. Athletes of all ages and all sports can find you directly. Here is the best part. Eye on the Ball doesn't mess with your schedule. It doesn't mess with your payments. It certainly will not mess with your business. You are in full control. They just connect you with athletes who are already looking for a coach like you out there. So if you're ready to grow your coaching business and reach more athletes, go check it out right now. It's eyeontheball.net. Remember, that website from the CHGO diehards themselves, eyeontheball.net. Do not wait. Do it today. There are athletes out there ready and looking for a coach like you.
Love teaming up with our CHGO diehards.
Cool company, rock and roll.
Welcome back. 9-3 Brewers. WWE ringside guy says, hey, Luke, your old friend Kaplan is heated. He's telling William Contreras to stick that bat where the sun doesn't shine. Kaplan gets a little fired up.
He was talking to
He's talking now that he's working out a lot.
Yeah, what happened was I didn't really realize it, but when Kyle Tucker took a walk, William Contreras was barking at him a little bit because he threw his bat.
Surprise,
in a certain way.
surprise.
So I didn't really see that. We were probably talking about Portillo's and rally cakes and stuff, but I didn't really see that. So yeah, surprise, surprise, William Contreras is a hothead.
Also, Cap is a huge. He's buddy. He loves Wilson Contreras.
Right.
So.
Family.
Well, yes, the family. I would assume the family. Listen,
let's
Cap
get
gets
William
mad
Contreras
about a lot
out.
of stuff.
Let's get him out.
I don't like William Contreras.
There's nothing to like. We just need to
told
get
you
him
if
out.
there's one guy that I don't want to pitch to in that lineup, that's the guy.
Yep.
Right? And I believe our guy Jared Willis was at that game today.
Sorry,
Game
buddy.
one.
I saw you were there.
Jared, yeah. So that drive was not worth it. What was it like getting post-game reaction today, Jared?
Oh, it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect after a day like this. It's one of those days where I think because it became evident so quickly how this one was going to turn out, the game very much had a feeling, even in the press box as it was going, of just like, all right, let's just turn the page to game 2 because it was pretty clear where this was going. And that was kind of the mindset, I think, a lot of the guys in the clubhouse, just feeling like this one got away from them quickly, and now it's about, thinking about Monday. Still a tough one to process because there's some things about it that are, troubling. You certainly don't expect to see Boyd come out and be as hittable as he was just right out of the gate like that. And then, of course, the Nico Hoerner error in the first inning. That's such an uncharacteristic thing to see that it always catches your attention, almost in a way that's kind of unfair to Hoerner, because he's human. He's going to make mistakes, but does it so rarely that when he does do it, it feels like, oh, that's the story of the game right there, when in reality it has a lot more to do with, Boyd was catching way too much of the plate right there in the first inning, and the Brewers clearly had a game plan, and they jumped all over it.
Jared, we have a lot of rally cake here in the studio, so we're having a hard time us turning the page because we got frosting on our fingers here. We've been stuck on just Craig Counsell's decision to go with Boyd on 3 days rest and then also go to Soroka first out of the pen. Any more insight and clarity into the thought process of the formula that went into obviously not only just making the decision to start Boyd on 3 days, but then bringing Soroka in as the first guy, as the fireman, if you will, in that situation?
Well, yeah, I think first when it comes to Boyd, Counsell talked before the game about Boyd's readiness. He said that there was no reason for them to think that Boyd wasn't ready. I think some of that had to do with his outing on Tuesday in Game 1 of the Wild Card Series was a shorter one. He didn't throw as many pitches as he normally might. And Counsell said, hey, had he gone 90 pitches on Tuesday, he wouldn't be starting today. So he did tell us that it had at least something to do with the fact that Boyd didn't go as deep into that game as you typically would expect. So that was a factor. But I think also one of the unspoken factors with Boyd starting today was there weren't exactly a ton of other options. Realistically, if you're not starting Matt Boyd, there's a couple of other possibilities, but none of those are necessarily going to be a whole lot better. This is in part just the reality of he was the best option that they had. As for Soroka, to be honest, I think just the way that inning was trending, it felt a little bit like, hey, let's bring a right-handed power arm out there. Maybe he can really shut this down, get some strikeouts, because the Brewers are not a team. They don't chase very much. And so you got to hit the zone, but you got to hit the zone with some velocity, some power. And Soroka, he's somebody who, coming back from the shoulder injury, has been hitting mid to upper 90s pretty consistently. So there was a chance that would work, but also if it doesn't work, which is what turned out to happen, you're not burning one of your more high leverage types of arms and giving those guys another day off, because Counsell told us before the game today that his options pitching wise were a little bit limited because of what they had to do to get through the wild card series. So he didn't name any names, but there were definitely some guys in the bullpen that were not available today. So I think that also has a lot to do with why it was Soroka that came in first.
Jared, we were watching the game without audio because we can't, so we're watching it visually. Busch hits that leadoff home run. Looks like the crowd's going crazy. I had seen on Twitter there's some fights going on in the stands. How many Cub fans would you estimate were there? And I know we didn't have a lot to cheer for, but in that first inning, what did you hear in the audio of our Cub fandom?
Yeah, the Cubs fans were definitely well represented here. There's no question about that. I think with the yellow towels that the Brewers passed out, it kind of made the crowd look a little more Milwaukee heavy than perhaps it was. And I don't want to take away from the number of Brewers fans that were here, but there's no question that there was a large Cubs fan contingency in this crowd, and they got pretty loud in the first inning with that first at bat, and rightfully so when Busch hit that homer. And yeah, I did see. I don't know about fights, but I did see at least one guy getting escorted out in the second inning. So he didn't last very long. And you know what? Maybe it's for the better. Head out and get some new Glarus and head back to Chicago.
Jared, what about Game 2 then? We can definitely say, even in hindsight, for sure, that starting Boyd wasn't the right decision. We don't know what would have been the right decision. Game 2, what's the right decision, or what are the choices in your mind?
Well, I think there's probably 2, maybe 3 choices for Game 2. One of the options, of course, is you go with Shota Imanaga, because you're kind of going on what has been the normal pattern for this starting rotation. So perhaps you go Imanaga for game 2. And whether or not we do the opener thing again, I don't know that that's something that Counsell's going to try again, at least not this quickly after he did it in the wild card series. So Imanaga is one choice. I think another option would be Jamison Taillon, even though you're kind of running him out there without full rest, which is sort of what happened with Boyd for this start. So there's that risk with Taillon. But again, Taillon pitched 4 innings on Thursday, didn't throw a ton of pitches, so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility in my mind to get Jamison Taillon for Monday night. The third option, I don't know how likely I think this one is, but Colin Ray is an option. He's put together some solid starts for the Cubs, especially to finish out the regular season. He threw inning and 2/3 on Wednesday, so he'd be rested enough for Monday. So I think that's a choice as well. So yeah, I think there's 3 options as to which one I would go with if I'm in Counsell's shoes. Honestly, I think the way that Jamison Taillon has looked, I would be awfully tempted to give Jamison Taillon the ball for game 2.
Wow, on short rest. That'd be Counsell doing it 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Run it right back
risk.
out there. Yeah. You had a question, George?
You'd have a bunch of us, criticizing and questioning it, but yeah, that's the risk he'd have to take. But I honestly, as I've thought about it, I think I'd go Taillon game 2.
And historically, Shota's better at home, so now you get Shota for
you can
game
maybe move
3
it
at
over.
home. It does make sense.
Jared, offensively, I wanted to ask you, look, you're behind the 8 ball, right? You're down 6 runs. You're down 6-1 as you enter the second inning of the game. But now, through 4 playoff games, the Cubs now have 47 strikeouts as an offense, only 6 walks. So for you, what do you think? What do you think the mindset is? What do they need to do to get back to being the Cubs offense? Is it trying to work counts and get on base and try and get some traffic, or is it just trying to be a little bit better when you're trying to attack pitches in the zone? Because velocity also seems to continue to be a problem.
Yeah, I think for me it's more the former, because as we have seen, the home run ball is there for them. They're connecting on homers, but the problem is we're getting a lot of solo shots. And especially like today, that just doesn't really do anything for you. And so if you can couple that with getting some, working some deep counts, getting some quality at-bats, drawing a few more walks so that you're getting some more guys on base, so that when a home run ball does come, you're getting 2, maybe even 3 runs at a time, as opposed to just, we had the Ian Happ homer later in the game, and then, Nico homered. My mind wants to say Horner and homered at the same time.
Nico Homer.
I'm going to turn that into one word. But I tried like 3 times and it kept coming out the same way. But so yeah, it's 3 solo shots, which when you're down by as many runs as they were, that's, it's really easy for Milwaukee to shrug that off. So that's what it is in my mind. Is it's got to be about getting traffic on the bases so that when you hit the home run, you're doing more damage.
All right, Jared, we're going to let you go. I got a couple things I want to give advice on the way out of there. Number 1 is make sure you take the ramps, not the escalators, on the way out of that ballpark. That is always number 1 rule, right, Sarah? That's it. Always avoid the escalators.
Not even like a joking
Number
matter.
2 is enjoy a good stogie on the way home, but
Yeah.
make sure you make a stop at Kopp's Custard, and then maybe one to get some spotted cow on the way, and then don't ever look back.
There's a high probability some New Glarus is going to find its way into my trunk on the way home. So
All right, thanks, Jared. We appreciate it.
all right.
We'll be looking for
Thank you,
Jared's.
guys.
We'll be looking for Jared's stuff at allchgo.com, which is a great reason you should be signed up to be a diehard, because some of his stuff sometimes is behind the paywall, and it's not behind a paywall for diehards.
Okay, cool.
So you got total access for that. So that's the $36 for a year, or the $59 if you want the Brandon Bills hat. All right, we're going to talk more about that Cubs offense that he was just talking about. We're also going to talk about some of the other series that are going on out there. Well, let's make our predictions for who's going to make the NLCS and who's going to make the ALCS now, as we're down to the final 8 teams in Major League Baseball. And by the way, I think the 8 best teams in baseball all advanced.
Yes, agreed.
I think you have your 8 best teams from the regular season all in the postseason. Now who will make it down to the Final Four? Let us know in the live YouTube chat what you think, but first a word from our sponsors.
Hey, Chicago sports fans, the Game Time app gives the advantage back to you, the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means you can trust. You'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and the best price. Fees are always included, so you know what you see is always what you're going to pay. Exclusive discounts like the zone deals. You can choose a section. Game Time selects the seat. You can also save. Easy to find tickets for any venue, concert, sports, Bears, Cubs, whatever it is. So snag the new ticket deals before anyone finds out by following your favorite teams in the Game Time app and receive alerts. You could also get Game Time coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service out there. So take out all the guesswork. Head on over to the Game Time app, download it, create an account, and use code CHGO. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.
You know that moment, the one where you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of the car or in the hands of your kids? I've been there, trust me, and it's not fun. But then I found Shady Rays, and it changed the game. These are sunglasses made for real life, seriously good, polarized, durable, and not stupid expensive. Here's the wild part. If you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays is going to send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I wear my sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts, on the boat, golfing, and even for playoff baseball, baby. I love them. Shady Rays Eyewear has your back. We're teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO for 35% off those polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades that have been rated 5 stars by more than 300,000 people. All right, welcome back. 9-3, a disaster of a game in Game 1. We get the Michael Busch leadoff home run, and we're all riding high. As Joey said, we were in heaven, and then we were in hell. There we were.
Very quickly.
9 runs
Quick
in
trip.
2 innings for the Brewers. The good news is they haven't scored the last 6 innings.
You want to know the other good news is Portillo's came through today for some therapy cake.
Yes.
That is what we got. And also
Rally cake became therapy cake today.
shout out Portillo's Catering. They gave us some Italian beefs. They gave, what else do they get?
Onion rings.
the onion rings were
Oh, the
Delicious
onion rings.
onion rings.
And then obviously we also got cake as well, as we always do.
A lot of people
So that was
like different
great.
beefs around Chicago. I will take Portillo's 100 out of a 100.
Portillo,
And-
have you had their ribs before?
Ribs
Portillo's
are great.
Are phenomenal.
Great ribs.
Okay. I
And
digress.
another quick
I have
shout out.
chopped salad,
Chop
too.
salad.
Not a
Chopped
salad guy, but the
salad.
chopped salad
And
is
some
good.
say spicy chickens.
I know we're
really
eating
good
a
with
lot
it
of
too.
cake. We need some salad.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to Joey's dog was here today.
Yes.
And he had
He's
his
at
little
my-
outfit.
He's at my feet right now.
Right.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
over
He's looking
there.
totally defeated
So
right
if
now.
anybody sees a
Vito's
dog
down there
walking
just
around.
looking like
Oh, you don't think he's seen a couple Bears losses in his
Vito
lifetime?
looks like he just watched another Bears game.
Well, it was crazy. During the second inning, he walked over here because you guys were just, the vibe was quiet, sad,
Yeah,
and
he
he
was
came
like
over
comfort
here.
dog.
He
and
knows.
It totally was like a therapy dog thing.
Comfort therapy
Yeah.
dog.
Oh, he's a Chicago
'Cause
sports dog.
It sucked. It really did, But I'll say it again, guys. We have a chance to win on Monday and make it a brand new series because you steal home field advantage with a win on Monday, and then you come back to Wrigley for 2 in a row. Listen, this game was not fun. I agree, but baseball changes in a blink of an eye, and Monday can be that blink for us.
Yeah, I'm ready to turn the page. I mean, we're working through it, and this is a part of it. You have to vent your frustrations and feel it in the moment, and then, like the players hopefully are doing right now, turning the page. Because, Luke, we were talking during the game too. Is like, how do you like your playoff losses? We like none of them. Okay,
Right.
We don't like losing 1-0. We don't like losing 3-0. We don't like losing 9-3. We don't like losing 9-8 by blowing it in the 9th inning. Right? None of them ever feel good. The important thing, to your point, Justin, and you're so right, is that it is just one game. It's just one loss. That game was played in Milwaukee.
Yep, with their ace.
Right, with their ace on the mound.
With us shorthanded.
It's a little bit of a TCB for the Milwaukee Brewers. It doesn't matter what the final score was. They did what they need to do. Now we need to do what we have to do. Steal one from them, Game 2 Monday. Come home to Wrigley for 2 games, take care of business, and move on.
All right. As far as the offense, you mentioned the 47 strikeouts to 6 walks so far in the postseason. I believe the Cubs have the advantage in home runs, and I would agree with Jared. You got to get some guys on base so they're 2-run homers, 3-run homers ahead of those guys. Positive signs from this game of the offense. First of all, Busch is still raking.
He looks good.
That's one.
Nico Horner homered.
Nico homered after having obviously a bad game. And how about Ian Happ? I said, like, if you can get Ian Happ going, Happ is the guy that can, if it's not Happ, it's got to be Dansby.
Yeah.
One of them has to lengthen that lineup,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just a quick turnaround at the bottom for whoever that pitcher is. One of those guys has to get hot in this series for the Cubs, I think, to really cook the offense the way they want it to.
I know we're talking offense, but I also want to give a shout out to Aaron Savale because he really saved our tax bullpen and gave us quality innings. So I know we're props to Ian Happ and Michael Busch, but Aaron Savale really, for me, was kind of like the gold star of this loss because it saves your bullpen.
Yeah, and when it comes to who can we possibly go back to in a Game 3, Game 4 scenario, I think Ben Brown did himself some favors today by entering the conversation of being able to come back and maybe be usable in one of those situations. And Mike Soroka will see, right? I mean, and that's kind of where that goes, right? Like, and Savale, you're right. Savale did a good job, did what he needed to do. And guys, like, look, like these leashes on these starters, they're as short as it can get. Some of these guys, in some cases, don't even last the first inning, right? And we have to throw some of that past production out the window and do what we have to do to get outs in these innings. So it's good to see those guys for sure. Offensively, I think Freddie Peralta kind of gave it to him a little bit, but it was good to see Matt Shaw walk twice. You know what I mean? For a young rookie to at least get on base and understand. I think he walked on 4 straight pitches the first time up, so it wasn't very competitive. Small signs, they got to put it together offensively. This is the strength, this and the defense, their offense and their defense, that is the strength of the team. Both of them need to show up on a game-to-game basis, and unfortunately they got behind the 8 ball, but they know they need to do more.
Everything failed the Cubs in Game 1.
It did.
Pitching failed the Cubs in Game 1. The manager failed the Cubs in Game 1. The defense failed the Cubs in Game 1. And the offense, despite 3 home runs, failed the Cubs in Game 1. It wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So, flush it.
One loss. It's one
Flush
loss.
it. It's one loss. We still had our predictions. Cubs in 4.
Yeah, Cubs. And honestly, I stay. It'd be easy for me to change the old Cubs in 5, but I still say Cubs in 4.
No, I do too.
Listen, I saw a tweet that I believe your boy Brandon put
Brendan
out.
Miller in 2015. Well, he had a couple.
Yeah.
In 2015, after winning 97 games, Jake Arrieta's complete game shutout in Pittsburgh's wild card game, but then the Cubs lost 4-0 to the Cardinals in Game 1 of the NLDS.
Okay, so I have a different one.
Right.
Your boy put out.
Then they went on to score 6 runs, 8 runs, and 6 runs, and pushed the Cardinals away.
Dansby Swanson lost to the Milwaukee Brewers in 2021, Game 1, and then the Atlanta Braves went on to win the next 3 games.
Same way.
So Dansby's got a little of this experience here, So I still think Cubs in 4. We're going to win on Monday because that's just what we do. After losses, we win, and then come home to the Wrigley faithful and win back-to-back games and clinch it at Wrigley.
I'm sticking with Cubs in 5. A couple fun stats for you guys. Let's roll the clocks back just a little bit. On
We're
what
not
was
doing
it
that yet, are we? We're not falling back on the
No, gosh, I hope not.
Sure.
No, we need the days as long as possible.
Man, thank you.
Let me get this correct here. On July 30th, Chicago Cubs beat the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee 10-3. I believe we all remember that was the day Moises Ballesteros hit a bases loaded double. It was against Freddie Peralta. They won 10-3. That previous day, the Chicago Cubs lost to the Milwaukee Brewers 9-3. So that was a good rollover right there. Got it back, keeping the positivity rolling.
9-3, huh? Same score.
Yeah, it's same score.
Wow.
And then the next day, the Cubs won 10-3. The other one was obviously, we all remember that 5-game series, and the Chicago Cubs lost 7-0 in a completely lifeless performance against the Milwaukee Brewers. We got on there. We were doing post-game shows. Division's over. Where's this team going? Kyle Tucker.
There. It was horrible.
Sky is falling. What did the Chicago Cubs do? They won the doubleheader that very next day, and then they won the game after that. They won 3 straight games against the Brewers. So there already is precedent in the recent that the Chicago Cubs can bounce back from this one. So I'm not freaking out.
Cubs in 4.
I'm not. You're sticking. Oh, yeah. Did you have Cubs in 5 or do you have Cubs in 4?
Cubs in 4.
Yeah.
Cubs in 4.
Cubs in 4. We both did. You said 5.
Yeah, I'm sticking
I
with.
thought they were going to win today, but I'm sticking with Cubs in 4.
I'm sticking with Cubs in 5, and then my only other one is that I've talked about this before a little bit, that I do think this is going to be an incredibly wild series of pendulum swings and crazy stuff and roller coaster stuff. I could easily see the Chicago Cubs beating the Milwaukee Brewers by the score of 9-3 in one of these series and have a blowout. I don't know if they're always going to be this tight all the time. So I don't know. Just buckle up and get ready. Don't read too much into game one. You're happy to get worried or be frustrated or be nervous, but don't read too much into it. There's plenty of baseball to play.
Right now, as we're doing this show live, the Blue Jays lead the Yankees 2-1. Who do you like in that series? Blue Jays, Yankees.
I go Blue Jays in that series.
I do too.
Yeah.
I also like the Blue Jays in that series. A little bit deeper with the starting pitching. The offense has been great. George Springer's having a great season.
Yeah.
Even without Bo Bichette, I like the Blue Jays.
All right, so we all like the Blue Jays moving on in the American League. Then you have the other National League one is Phillies-Dodgers. Now that is straight theater. I think actually I like all the matchups. And I said, I think these are the best 8 teams. Dodgers-Phillies. Boy, it'd be real easy for me to pick the Phillies to win it all if I had to pick one team. But the other team is the Dodgers, and I just can't push the Dodgers out of the picture because they didn't win 105 games. Like, I thought they're going to win 110 games this year.
Yeah.
I'll still take the Dodgers in that series.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if I believe it fully, but until I see them lose to the Phillies, I won't believe it.
I'm sticking with the Dodgers in that series. Shohei Ohtani's going to pitch.
That's a 5-gamer, though,
right.
for me. That's a 5-game series.
Shohei Ohtani's going to pitch tonight, right? And
Yeah.
that's going to play a huge part into can he also pitch in Game 4 and Game 5. So as of right now, the Dodgers have him, Glasnow, and Yamamoto going games 1, 2, and 3. So I'm giving them the edge, not just based on their incredible, immense talent at the top of their lineup.
And the Phillies don't have Wheeler.
The Phillies don't have Wheeler. They've had a shaky Nola. They really need Jesus Luzardo to show up in that series and lock down Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani, some of the lefty bats in that lineup. We all talked about we love Joe Duran. We love that dude, right? But I got to stick with the Dodgers, Justin.
All right. I go Phillies.
There
I
you
go
go.
for the October Schwarber is a real thing.
Yep.
I think Philadelphia is a crazy sports town. I think they're going to be loud. They're going to be crazy. And I think the Dodgers, they showed some bruises this year. I go Phillies in that series.
Tigers, Mariners?
Stick at Mariners.
So we all
They've
said Blue Jays.
yeah.
So you say Blue Jays, Mariners?
Mariners were my dark horse to win the pennant a while ago. I'm sticking with them. I'm riding with them. I like them in that series.
I want Detroit and Chicago to play in the World Series.
Ooh,
That was the early season.
that was
I said
middle
that
of the
months
season
ago,
looked-
and I'm still saying it today. That would be my perfect World Series.
Okay. Yeah, a little Javi.
Yeah, I would love that series. It'd be
Yeah,
great.
I mean, to be honest, that's just the Mariners-Detroit series is the one I care least about. But I will go Detroit, and I love Javi Baez, and let's get him a little bit more October shine.
Yeah, like did the Tigers get through their brutal stretch, survive it, and then rally now
Yes.
to take
Full
off
head of
again?
steam.
Or the Mariners, who look built for the postseason
Yeah.
and have all kinds of power. All kinds of power. I'll go Tigers, too.
All right.
I think the Mariners might be a better team at this point in the season,
Yeah,
but maybe the Tigers have flipped that switch
Right.
back.
because they were great for a while.
Yeah.
They got Scooble.
And they still got Scooble in a game. So we'll see how they all unfold. And I'm still saying Cubs in 4. Cubs in 4.
Yeah,
Did I say
same.
Cubs in 4?
4.
Cubs
The
in
next
4.
3. We got the next 3. Book it.
The next one is the critical one.
Yeah.
This is where we're at. Game 2 on Monday. Old Crow Smokehouse. The address is 3506 North Clark. Right there in Wrigleyville. Great barbecue. The brisket's good.
Drinks are great.
The drinks are great.
The people are
burgers
nice 'cause we'll be there.
The burgers are good.
The live pregame and the live postgame show are stellar because it's us.
Yep.
Correct.
And honestly, again, selfishly, I'm the new guy here. I would love to meet some of these diehards. We see them in the chat all the time. It's a free watch party in the heart of Wrigleyville, and it's a do or die game. So come on out with your CHGO boys and let's have some fun.
And come up and say hello, too, as well.
Yes.
Like, your profile pictures don't always have your face in it. They have other characters
Like
and
Tyler
stuff.
has a
We're not
T.
going to know.
I mean, you would
so,
know.
yeah. So come up and say hello and
here,
introduce
though.
yourself.
Tyler's here. Tyler says you guys need a disclaimer that you don't watch other teams in the league. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unless they're playing the Cubs.
I
don't turn on White Sox games.
for our
I don't turn on-
90 second breakdown of our 1 hour show.
Right now, I'm
I
all
mean,
Cubs. I'm sorry. I'm all
We're-
Cubs right now.
We're drilled in to bring the best content of Chicago Cubs baseball that we possibly
Also,
can.
for anyone who is wondering, the game on Monday for the Cubs is at 8:08 p.m.
Yeah, if you didn't know, it's a late game.
It's a late game. So
Our pregame is 7:30. You said, I believe.
Pregame show will start at 7:30,
Okay.
and we'll go for just about a half hour, and then we won't do a watch along, obviously because we'll be at Old Crow, and then we will have a postgame show afterwards.
We're going to need a lot of cake, Luke.
A lot of cake.
You're going to need a lot of rally kicking. You're going to need a lot of rally kicking. And can't give up 9 runs in the first 2 innings.
Oh.
This wasn't fun. Monday will be. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs post-game show podcast. For Justin Roman, for Joey Christopoulos, and Sarah, I'm Luke Stuckmeyer. We will see you Monday. Old Crow Smokehouse, when we will fly the W.
Must win Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.